This is Chris with Dive Zone Scuba for another technical diving tips, techniques, and trips video. Hello divers, thanks for joining me today. The subject of today's video is maintaining the low pressure inflator hose and fitting. Alright, so periodically what you'll see happening is you'll see bubbles coming out of the fitting while it's under pressure, and that can lead to some problems, particularly, let's say if you're technical diving, you don't want to do a dive where you have bubbles coming out. That's why you do a bubble check. Alright, so when you have bubbles coming out of here, it could be for a couple of different reasons. One is there's a Schrader valve, a thing called a Schrader valve that's way down deep inside there, and that could be corroded or otherwise malfunctioning. And then the other issue you could have is the O-ring that is inside down here that provides the seal could also be nicked, damaged, and so on. So what we're going to do is we're going to talk about how to take out and put in, examine the Schrader valve and put it back in if you want to do that, and also how to remove the O-ring that's inside there and put another O-ring in there. All right, so these processes could be very annoying to do. And so a lot of people will just go ahead and buy a new hose, but we're going to go through the process, and if you have a few tools, correct techniques, it's not all that difficult to do, so you can save yourself some money by maintaining your hose rather than buying a new one. Alright, so we're going to need a tool to take out the Schrader valve, and it basically is a long, thin tool with a notch on the end like that, and that fits in the Schrader valve and enables us to loosen it up. A lot of scuba multi-tools actually have something like that, so if you always wonder what that is on the tool, that's what it is. Okay, so you insert the tool and you grab a hold in the right position in the Schrader valve, and all you got to do is unloosen it. Okay, sometimes you'll find out they're already loose, and that's really bad because if the Schrader valve itself works itself out, that could actually prevent you from removing the low pressure inflator hose in a situation, and so you're not be able to get it off. If your hose was your inflator was auto inflating, that could be a problem. This actually happened to one of my students while we were diving the Oriskany. I think that was in 2017, and he could not remove his inflator hose because the Schrader valve had backed out, and we ended up having to keep working with it, and we were eventually able to get the hose off and then stick the tool in there, which we had, and tighten the Schrader valve. Okay, so this is what the Schrader valve looks like, and if you press down on that little part there, it opens the valve up. So when you install this on your inflator, it presses the end of the stem on the fitting, presses this, and enables the air to go through. Alright, so you can inspect this to make sure it's not corroded. If it's corroded, you'd obviously want to take it out, and these are very inexpensive. Again, you get them at AutoZone or O'Reilly, someplace like that. You just better go ahead and replace it. I've seen two different kinds. There's one with the black collar and one with the red collar. I think there are maybe some dimensional differences, so again, put in the right one that you got out. Okay, so we're going to stick this thing back in here. Okay, and screw it down, and again, make sure that this is snug, because if it does come unloosened, it can cause you problems. Okay, so we're now done with that. Now, the other source of the problem is the O-ring, okay, which looks like one of these O-rings inside there. And so you have to have a pick. This pick came from one of those little scuba tank looking things. And you have to get the pick inside the groove there and pull it out. Okay, so this can actually be a somewhat annoying process, frustrating process. So it could take you several attempts and several minutes in order to get this out. I've already taken this one out just so I don't have to mess with it to show you what to do. Okay, but just stick it in there, rotate it around, try to hook the O-ring, and then try to pull the O-ring out, and then after several attempts, you'll be lucky. Okay, now, when you get the O-ring out, there's a good chance that it's going to be, could be damaged like this one here. And so you have to basically discard that, and you need to put in the same size O-ring. So there are two general types of O-rings that seem to be thin here. And one is a 011 O-ring, which is probably the more common one. And then the other O-ring is a 903 O-ring. And if you were to stick these side by side, you would tell that there's a very slight difference between the two. I don't have a 903 O-ring because I don't really deal with those, but they are the same looking dimensions. The difference is the 903 O-ring is ever so slightly smaller in cross-sectional area. And so if you have an inflator that is made for a 903 O-ring, you need to put a 903 O-ring back in there. If it's a 011 O-ring, you should put in a 011 O-ring in there. Some people say that it's okay to switch them, but I think it's better to put the one back in, because when the company machines the fitting here, the quick disconnect fitting, it is designed specifically for one or the other. All right, so we have that out, and we have the correct O-ring, and what we're going to do next is we're going to stick the new O-ring in there. And so one of the things we might want to do is just take some lubricant and just put a little bit on there. If you put too much on there, it's going to be really difficult to get this thing back in because it'll be sliding around. Now, if you don't have a tool to do this, this can be an extremely frustrating process, which is the reason why some people who have a hose problem like this, a leaking problem, end up buying a new hose. All right, so there are some companies, several companies out there that have manufactured a special tool to insert the hose back in here because it's such a difficult process, or could be such a difficult process. And they cost like $20. But once you buy one of these special tools, at least in my case, I did have one. Okay, I have no idea where it is now, so if you need it, you may not necessarily be able to find it, or maybe separated. They're usually two-piece type tools, or you might have some other problem with it. All right, so what I've come up with that I'm going to show you today is another method which is far cheaper and I think works not quite as well maybe as a special purpose tool, but good enough not to drive you insane doing this. And what this is a stainless steel number 8 machine bolt that is 1 inch long. And I think if you go to a hardware store, I got this from Home Depot in a big pack of 5, but if you go to a hardware store, this might cost you 30 cents. Okay, so very inexpensive. All right, so the way this works is you insert this down in there, and make sure when you do this you get the round head bolt with the flat underside. I've tried the flat head with the beveled underside. It doesn't work as well, so get the one with the round head and the flat underside. You might have to pull the collar down to get the head of the bolt to slide past the little lock balls. And it's sitting on the Schrader valve right now, and you can see that I can push it down, okay, and it's resting on there. And you want to have that down there, and if in case you need extra clearance, you can always push it down, but I don't think I need extra clearance. Okay, so I'm going to take my O-ring here, and the O-ring diameter is obviously longer or greater than the diameter of the shaft of the inflator fitting, and so it won't go in straight. Okay, so you have to push in one end first, and of course it's springy. It's going to try to resist going down, and then you want to take your other thing. In this case, I've got a 1/16 of an inch pick, which recently broke, but you want to take that and you want to use that and push down, okay, the O-ring. You want to push the O-ring down around the shaft. Okay, so the O-ring is kind of folded in on itself, and what you want to do is you want to push the O-ring down into the groove by going around. It broke off completely now. By going around the bolt. Okay, and not quite there yet. You might have to go around a few times in order to accomplish this, but you're basically just going around it. And not quite in yet. I might need another tool here to get this in. Okay, I think I've done it. Yes, I've done it. Okay, so this process is, again, involves a little bit of luck. If you're doing it, you might get it in 10 seconds. It might take 30 seconds to do it, but it took as long as you saw me do it, even with my broken pick. Okay, so now, I don't know if you're going to be able to see this or not, the O-ring is now inside the groove, and I'm ready to go. I should not have the problem with the leaking anymore. So while you're at it, another thing to do is to lubricate the quick release mechanism, and this is something I don't think very many people do, and I have had periodically problems fitting, putting the low pressure inflator hoses on different inflators. And the problem was really not that there was any kind of dimensional problem, quality control problem. It was because these fittings are generally not lubricated when they come from the factory. Okay, so you can take a little bit of lubricant. In this case, this is, I think it's Trio Lube. There's like Trio Lube and Cristo Lube. I think this is Trio Lube. And you could just pull the collar down, squeeze some in there with the balls are. Inside there, the locking balls, and maybe put some on the inside, swirl that around, and once you do that and you articulate it a little bit, it is going to be a much cleaner operation of the fitting. Okay, so I would suggest you do that. On a periodic basis, just to make sure that the fitting is much more easy to articulate. Okay, so those are some things that, in case you have any problems with your low pressure inflator hose, that you can easily do at low cost and be restored back to perfect functioning order. This is Chris with Dive Zone Scuba. Thanks for watching, and please subscribe.